Book 3, Chapter 44. That where ordinary methods fail, hardihood and daring often succeed. When attacked by the Romans, the Samnites, as they could not without help stand against them in the field, resolved to leave garrisons in the towns of Samnium, and to pass with their main army into Etruria, that country being then at truce with Rome, and thus ascertain whether their actual presence in arms might not move the Etruscans to renew hostilities against Rome, which they had refused to renew when invited through envoys. During the negotiations which, on this occasion, passed between the two nations, the Samnites, in explaining the chief causes that led them to take up arms, used the memorable words, "They had risen because peace is a heavier burthen for slaves than war for freemen." In the end, partly by their persuasions and partly by the presence of their army, they induced the Etruscans to join forces with them. Here we are to note that when a prince would obtain something from another, he ought, if the occasion allow, to leave him no time to deliberate, but should so contrive that the other may see the need of resolving at once, as he will if he perceive that refusal or delay in complying with what is asked of him will draw upon him a sudden and dangerous resentment. This method we have seen employed with good effect in our own times by Pope Julius II in dealing with France, and by Monsieur de Foix, the general of the French king, in dealing with the Marquis of Mantua. For Pope Julius, desiring to expel the Bentivogli from Bologna, and thinking that for this purpose he needed the help of French troops, and to have the Venetians neutral, after sounding both, and receiving from both hesitating and ambiguous answers, determined to make both fall in with his views, by giving them no time to oppose him, and so, setting forth from Rome with as strong a force as he could get together, he marched on Bologna, sending word to the Venetians that they must stand aloof, and to the King of France to send him troops. The result was that in the brief time allowed them, neither of the two powers could make up their mind to thwart him, and, knowing that refusal or delay would be violently resented by the Pope, they yielded to his demands, the king sending him soldiers, and the Venetians maintaining neutrality. Monsieur de Foix, again, being with the king's army in Bologna, when word came that Brescia had risen, could not rest till he had recovered that town. But, to get there, he had to choose between two routes, one long and circuitous, leading through the territories of the king, the other short and direct. In taking the latter route, however, not only would he have to pass through the dominions of the Marquis of Mantua, but also to make his way into these through the lakes and marshes wherewith that country abounds, by following an embanked road, closed and guarded by the Marquis with forts and other defensive works. Resolving, nevertheless, to take the shortest road at all hazards, he waited till his men were already on their march before signifying to the Marquis that he desired leave to pass through his country, so that no time might be left him to deliberate. Taken aback by the unexpected demand, the Marquis gave the leave sought, which he never would have given had de Foix acted with less impetuosity. For he was in league with the Venetians and with the Pope, and had a son in the hands of the latter, all which circumstances would have afforded him fair pretexts for refusal. But carried away by the suddenness and urgency of the demand, he yielded, and, in like manner, the Etruscans yielded to the instances of the Samnites, the presence of whose army decided them to renew hostilities which before they had declined to renew.